Trae Young has just been traded to the Wizards. Like, you're not expecting this, but then I was, because a couple days ago it came out that he wanted to go to the Wizards, which I don't know why he would want to go there. He just wants to average 50 and 20, I guess. But he just got traded to the Wizards, so this is the trade breakdown. Trae Young, who's a 4-time All-Star, is going to the Wizards, and the Atlanta Hawks are receiving CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert, and no picks. On paper, this looks like a huge win for the Wizards, which for now it is. I still think Trae Young is a great player, especially offensively. If we look at his stats for the past couple years, last year he was injured, but the years before he's pretty much averaging 25 and 11. He led the league in assists 2 years ago. And I think like for this decade, the past 5 years, I think he's actually first in assists. Like he's got the most assists out of anyone. I think Jokic may be first there as well. But offensively, Trae Young, he's one of the best players in the league. Defensively, we're not going to talk about that. He's ass, he's trash. But offensively, he's insane. But I think he's going to start into this Wizards team nicely. They're a young team, and him not being that young but not that old, and being a 4-time All-Star, making the conference finals, one time, he's coming in with his experience, and his offense is going to help those young guys be a lot better. It's going to help guys like Alex Sarr, Koulibaly, and all their other young players to develop. And the Wizards are going to be nice. The Wizards I actually think are going to be quite good, and I think they're going to really benefit positively from this trade. And when you think about it as well, the Wizards really didn't give up a lot for Trae Young, or a guy who's good like Trae Young. They gave up no draft capital, which is quite amazing. And even guys like Corey Kispert and CJ McCollum, they're not guys who are going to significantly change your franchise, where I do think Trae Young is a guy who can be a leader and has shown he can be a leader in a playoff team which has success. But I think like the big thing around the Wizards, and why I think they've essentially just won this trade in some ways, is the fact they're getting an amazing offensive talent who's going to make their young players better, and the fact that they gave up no draft capital, which is just surprising. However, looking at this from the Hawks' perspective, they're getting rid of a guy who, over the past couple years, has kind of been a bit detrimental, especially on the defensive end. And you look at the Hawks team now, they got their guy now who I think is one of the best young players in the league, in Jalen Johnson. And it's exciting that the Hawks have finally decided to build around him and kind of move on from Trae Young. There's been talks around the Hawks apparently maybe trading for a guy like Anthony Davis, which the Hawks would look nice with Anthony Davis, man, especially because of his defense will positively benefit this team in a lot of ways. But they have the cap space to now go and get a guy who can positively benefit this team and make them into a real playoff threat. It's funny because at the start of the season, everyone was talking about how the Hawks were going to be a major playoff threat. They haven't really lived up to those expectations, but I seriously feel like now they're in a great position to get a couple more guys who can actually elevate them to be a good team in the East. And the East is wide open, especially this season with all the injuries. So if they can get another piece this season or even next season, this team could make the finals in a couple years, man. Like, they're looking really nice. So overall, I think it looks like a huge win for the Wizards, but I realistically think this is kind of just a win-win for both teams. The Hawks kind of outgrew Trae Young. They were looking like they wanted to move on from him and focus on their other young guys, and they've now done that. They've opened some cap space as well. Now they can kind of go forward with this new era around Jalen Johnson and guys like Dyson Daniels and Rishashare. And then the Wizards finally get an opportunity to build around a star caliber player, or an all-star caliber player. Respectfully, I don't think he's a star, but he's an all-star caliber player. They can see what their offense is around a guy who's one of the best offensive players in the league. This is an interesting trade. I'm keen to see what the future of both these teams look like. I think in the short term, it's going to look like a big win for the Wizards. I think Trae Young's going to average like 30 and 12, man. The Wizards, yeah, I think he's going to average insane numbers, but I think in the long term, the Hawks are going to build a really nice team around Jalen Johnson, and I think they're going to do great. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about this trade down in the comments. If you guys like this video, like, subscribe. If there's anything I can improve on. I know my audio sucks, so I got to improve on that. But if there's anything else I can improve on, please let me know. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. See you in the next.